Okay, this is Intro to Methods Part 3. The idea of this is for you to, without really totally being taught how to trace this code that has methods in it, is for you to use what we just did with the talent show, the questions and all that kind of thing, is to use that to help you trace this code and write the output in the box over here. So do that, and then come back and we'll check the answers and have you write a couple of notes on this paper. Okay, so here's what should happen. First of all, what happens is, you notice in the talent show program, we said that who starts the talent show? We said the MC does, and they said, well, what Java code was associated with the MC, and that would be the main method header. And so the main method header is where you need to start, so line 10. So what happens is, I don't know if I can do this, let's see, what you should write down is main method starts the program automatically. Alright, and so every program needs to have a main method. If it doesn't, it won't start it. So in order to start a program, you have to have the main method. Also notice this, is that there is more than one method. There's other lines that look like the main method. Alright, so you have where'd it go? Okay, so you have this line of code right here. This looks like a method, and oh man, I just lost the order here. I'm gonna have to pause this. So what we'll do here is, as I get this back into order, is we notice that this looks like a method, this looks like a method header, this looks like a method header. If you notice, they all have very similar things: public static, parentheses after, etc. So these all, but notice that you have these four. Well, if you're reading from top to bottom, you're going to go to wacky water first. But wacky water is not what starts a program. What starts a program is the main method. It doesn't matter whether it's the first method listed, the last method listed, or whatever. It always starts with the main method. So the main method header starts the program. Then of course you just go to the next line down typically, and so we're going to go down here and you would print apple, and then you would, the next line of code says you can print boat. And I'm not going to write all this out because it would take too long. And so then the next line down looks weird. This is what looks weird because we're not used to this. And so what happens is you have silly sweet. And if you think of this as when the MC called up Christy and said, Christy, called her by name. Called her by name. This is the name of the method. Alright, so I would write that in here. This is the name of the method, is silly sweet. And so what's going to happen is you're going to look, then notice what we did in the talent show. We looked for Christy's name and we found it, and then that's where her performance was. So here's the name of the method called silly sweet. Now this line of code has a name for it, and I don't know if I can do this. Can I copy this? It doesn't. It's just too difficult to work in this program. So I'm going to just have to fake it here. Oh boy. Oh shoot. Okay, so well, this is not working. Alright, so I just messed up. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to type in here because this is all too difficult to do. So what we're going to do is just, you have to pay attention carefully and write down things as I tell you. So in this particular line of code, this line of code is called a method call. Okay, it's a method call because it is calling a method. In fact, it's calling the method named silly sweet. So the compiler knows that and then goes down here, and this is called a method header. So make sure you write that down. This is a method header. and you notice the name is before the parentheses, and we talked about that in chapter 1, I think, that, and chapter 1, that the name of the method comes before parentheses. Sometimes you'll have parentheses, stuff in, or things, code inside parentheses. Sometimes it'll be empty. Alright, and so this, so just like this line of code calls or invokes the method silly sweet into action, when the MC said, Christy, you're up, then Christy got up, and then she performed. Now in this case, the performance by silly sweet is printing dog and forest, and this is called the method body, and we should be familiar with that already. So in between the two braces, which you can't see this brace because this got messed up, is these two lines are inside those braces, and this is the body of the method. This is the performance by the method. This is the series of actions taken by the method. A method does things. And so then the next thing it does, so by the way, we've lost track up here, but we printed apple and boat, and then we came down here to silly sweet, and then silly sweet printed dog and forest. And then now, if you remember what we did in the other program, in the talent show, I had you highlight the method calls when they were called in action, and then I had you put check marks on where to go after they were done with your performance, and it was always right below it. So the idea here is, now that this method's done, where do you go? The landmark. This is something that you need to memorize. That's not even an option. You have to memorize that. What you do is you return to method call. In fact, maybe you should write that down. You return to method call. Return to method call. And if there's nothing to do in the method call, you go to the next line down. This is the one I had you check mark before on the talent show program, because but the landmark is when they were called up. And so this is now the next line that the compiler is going to go to, and so it's going to print hamster. Now I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to put the hamster here. The next line down, and you always go to the next line down below until you're told to go somewhere else. So now you have another one of those funny looking lines. You have the method call, and then and it's calling this time not Christy, but maybe Dale or Lumpy Loot, in fact. And so Lumpy Loot is called, and so it's going to go down here to the method header and print lamp. And then it's done, and it goes to lamp and down to the next line, and it calls wacky water. So wacky water, you're up, and so it goes up here, and you're looking for the word wacky water, because that's the name of the method, that's the name of the performer. The wacky water does its performance. It prints mango and pail, and then it finishes, so it goes back down to where it was called was wacky water, and it goes the next line down, and it prints zoo. Alright, so you should know what a method call is, especially the main method that starts the program automatically. You should know what a method call is. It has the name of the method in parentheses and a semicolon. It calls and invokes the main method, or the method header. In this case, it's calling silly sweet. Silly sweet does its performance, however many tasks are in between the curly braces of the method. Then it returns to the method call and goes and sees if there's anything to do there, which not yet, but there will be someday soon. And then it goes down to the next line, and then you just keep going, doing that throughout the whole program. So that's the idea, and we'll see how this goes as we continue on with methods.